EA Sports is in the game. Emos, holla back.
Madden NFL 2004.
It means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't pin me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like good is sweet. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you put in, baby. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to the Reese T Bills Mafia tailgate pregame show. I'm your host, Tommy. Next to me is my co-host, Mr. King Aramis from Post Podium Podcast. You know how we do. My dude, Aramis. How you doing, brother? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling great. Just,
I know why, by
hours the last couple of days, and, now I'm ready to get some Bills talk.
That's not the real reason, bro.
What? What's the real reason?
Dude, come on. Don't lie, Aramis.
Don't
lie.
What are you talking about?
Come on, man. It's 3 words. Big game, Gabe. We could probably just stop the show right now. I mean,
you're right. We can absolutely stop the show right now. You're right.
Come on, man. Listen, man. I was telling the people in the chat here, and Scott was a lot of people down. I'm like, hey, I got 3 words for you. You know what I mean? Big game, Gabe. He's back, baby, and this is what we needed, man. This is what we needed to go on this run. I can see it in your eyes, Aramis, that you know the deal. You know the deal. You know what's about to happen.
Oh, you're right.
This is all in the works.
Yep.
Right? We were saving it up just not to kind of, show our cards early.
Exactly.
And now we're bringing the troops out. Here comes the troops, right? McCole Hardman. All this was set up, man. Don't get it twisted, folks. You thought that receiver room was bad? Here comes
now it's
the
about
dogs.
to get worse. Yeah.
No, what?
Yeah. Now it's about to get worse.
Come on, Aaron.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh no! What are you talking about?
They waited till right here, right now, to give everybody just enough hope to let you down one last time for this season. Let's go.
Unbelievable. Scott Blakely, we are so screwed. I don't understand you guys. Let's see here. I walk in faith like your handle, my man. They was talking about up there. But the Bills this year, not so certain. Gee, Scott is man, I would say Scott's a great dude, but he's so optimistic to start the season, but once things turn bad, he goes the way the opposite route, and he is not optimistic anymore. He is the total opposite of optimistic. So it is what it is, but I can't blame you guys, by the way. I can't blame any of you guys for feeling a certain way about this team right about now, losing to the fucking Miami Dolphins, who, what's the score right now in that Dolphin game, by the way? It's 13-6 Commanders. What do you know? Like, Commanders have the same amount of points as we do, and they're in the third quarter. Lovely. That was embarrassing last week. We didn't get to really talk about it much, me and you, but that was a total shit show, what I saw there last weekend. But I'll be honest with you, I wasn't overly surprised either, Aramis. I'll be honest with you. This team at this point, what really surprises me anymore, about what this team does, the decision making, the everything that this team does. I think I've just kind of gotten used to, right, at this point. Like, so once again, that loss was just pathetic, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's about right. Like, we do this dumb shit. So I don't know if and this season seems more, I don't know. This season's odd, man, to me. I don't know. This season's just, something's not right. Obviously, and we're still a winning team. Don't get me wrong. We're 6-3. It's not like we're 3-6, the opposite, but it's just the way we're playing. Even with some of the wins, it's just not good football. And it's odd because we're the second overall offense. It certainly does not look like it. I have no idea how we are, but apparently we are. But it doesn't look like it or feel like it when I watch this team that we're even a top 10 offense, which is really weird, but it is what it is. Let me get to some comments and we'll get back to talking. Sophia, nose rings are for those being led into submission. Okay, I don't know about the nose ring thing, but I don't have one. And for those, I think Aramis likes a nose rings. And for those who... No, Aramis rocks the nose ring on game days. He's just not wearing his right now.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, check it out. Let's see here. Gabe injured by third quarter. Not a wish, hope, or want. You can't put the treads on the field and expect excellence. I think he'll be limited today. I don't think he'll have a lot of heavy snap count. In my opinion, I think they'll ease him in today. Gabe Davis. I don't think he's going to have a heavy snap count. I could be wrong, but I just think they're kind of easing him back. Hardman for sure. Hardman will be out there, but it'll be very limited because he just got there. So I assume like they have a couple plays for him or just vary the basics that he'll be out there running. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't expect a lot of usage going his way early on. It could ramp up as the season goes on. He gets familiar with the playbook. Not that our playbook seems to be very, hard to do. It seems, I don't know, very simplified, but I could be wrong on that. Anyways, so Aramis, I don't know if you've been on X, but I sent you a thing about Joe Brady that I read about in 2021, and man, very concerning. Now, I didn't read into Brady past before he got here. Now, I knew where he was. I knew he was with LSU. I knew he was with Carolina, got fired. But did you read that stuff I sent you or no?
Yeah.
Did you have a chance?
Yeah.
Very alarming.
It's not
very
the first time I've heard that stuff about him.
Yeah, see, I didn't because I really, never really followed through on, his history.
Yeah.
But the same things that were said about him is really the same things that I've been kind of like complaining about his coaching style, like how he is as an offensive coordinator. The predictability, the vanilla type offense, the not scheming his receivers up to put him in better positions, right? These are all true, and they stand true today. And once again, we're not, I don't think Aramis is either saying too that this receiving room is god awful. I think it's okay, but I think they can also be put in better positions to, to have better, better performances, right? To at least put them in better positions to help the offense out. And they're really not. So, of course, as fans, a lot of fans just look at it like the receivers suck. Oh, they're terrible. They're not getting over. Whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And it's really boils down to the coordinator not putting them in better positions with his schemes, right? And that's really why I wanted to trade for a receiver more than anything, because at least if you get a one, he doesn't really need the help from Brady to scheme him up. He's that good where he's just going to find a way to get open. You know what I mean? So, and we didn't get that. We didn't do that. So that part, guys, is out the table. Go ahead, Aaron.
So what I've reached the conclusion on is the issues for the Buffalo Bills have more to do with the offensive line than the actual receivers, right? And here's why. Stick with me. When you think about
Stay
the
with me
start,
now.
right? When you think about the start of the season, and you think about the stats like Josh's time to throw and how high it was against the Dolphins, and it's kind of been in that general area all season. Now, as the season progressed, what did we see? We started seeing Josh break out more and more, break out of the pocket, try to make things happen because guys were not getting open. At the start of the season, he was standing in the pocket, but what was happening? He was getting hit a lot. He either wasn't able to get the ball where he wanted to get it and got hit, or he started to get chased out, or he just flat out got sacked. And when you look at the video, you watch the all 22, you see an offensive line that just is not getting their checks right. If they're told to slide, the whole offensive line will slide, and one guy just completely ignores the fact that he's letting a defensive end go up against a running back. Or earlier in the season, you got guys you got free runners getting a beeline straight to Josh. Why? Because your left guard is completely ignoring his gap in order to double block a one tech. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bunch of different instances that we can point to say Josh is not getting the protection he needs to allow these slower, methodical, receivers
to win their routes.
And so it's a combination of everything that starts with Josh's protection, and then that's what disrupts his trust in this scheme. When you have a quarterback that doesn't trust his protection and doesn't trust his scheme because of that, you get what you got in the Dolphins game, where everything is, I got to scramble, I got to make something happen, I got to get out of here, and it's never going to look right until they change it.
Dude, I 1000% agree with you, and I kind of been preaching that as well. Not so much pushing it on the line, though. I kind of agree with you on that take too. Mikey for sure would. Like if Mikey was here, he would be. Mikey, he gets so much heat from Sean Kula. Sean that goes on your guy. So Sean's a good friend of the show, and he's a. Guy's always watching Post Podium. He's always watching Mafia Sports Sport. And no knock on you, Sean, because I know he's going to comment me later. Because he gets really offended when it comes to offensive line. He does a lot of breakdowns on the line. But Mikey would really strongly agree with you on the offensive line this year. I would say I agree slightly. I don't think they're playing really terrible. However, there is breakdowns I do see, which obviously is not good. And I also strongly agree with, Allen kind of with all that being said, it's a combination of a lot of stuff. And he's being boxed in as well because this is not really his style of play, they're kind of forcing him into. So my thing is this, guys, and I know you guys want him to check down a lot, but we're not if that's what we wanted, you shouldn't have probably paid this guy. You should have probably just went out and got yourself a game manager, save some money. Exactly. So but once again, I'm not saying, of course you guys were like, well, Allen has to, and I get that. Look, hey, it is what it is. If that's the way he has to. But you also, guys, listen, I've watched football forever. We've been check down team before. We've played that role before. It's not successful. It really isn't. If you want to play everything short and underneath, defenses are eventually going to play you tighter and tighter. It's never going to work, right? It's just not. It's not a successful thing. And you're learning that. And Allen, go ahead. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. So the other part of this too that I think we have to take into consideration is this is year 2 of this offensive scheme in a sense, right? Last year, there wasn't as much emphasis on the run game as there is this year. Last year, the Bills were still passing more than they were running. This year, it's flipped. And so it's a natural progression, but what's happened now is defenses have a full year of tape to kind of review and see, okay, how's the offensive line blocking in this formation? How, what are they looking to do with these receivers on the field? And the issue, the sub issue within the scheme is everything is so role specific. If everything is so role specific, what happens? You see guys go off the field okay, I know they're not running these set of plays anymore because those players are leaving the field. If you see Curtis Samuel come on the field, okay, I'm thinking jet sweep, I'm thinking screen pass, or I'm thinking end around or something to that effect. Something behind.
And what does that though tell you? The predictability of Joe Brady's offensive.
Yeah.
And that's when we go back to the articles. And really, it's funny because I didn't even read these until earlier this week. And I've been saying the predictability thing since last year. You know what I mean? That he shows his cards way too much. And he doesn't, and he also, Aramis, I noticed one thing he's gotten worse at is adjusting, in-game adjustments. So he kind of sticks with the script and he doesn't know how to, how to adjust. I haven't seen it. I really haven't. You know, the only game he did, I'll be honest with you, is probably the week one where he kind of adjusts a little bit there. But I think he was forced to. I think that was more of a fuck it. You know what I mean? Let's just, and I'll say this too about our offense too. And I've been saying it. The only time I see this passing game kind of be smooth, like the operating, it goes smoothly and things don't seem so clunky, is when we go up tempo. I've been saying this since last year, but they refuse to because McDermott doesn't want that. He wants these long drives because he wants to. I'm so sick of that shit too. That whole fucking him saving it. Dude, the defense is going to give up points anyways. It doesn't matter if we keep them off the field for 40 fucking minutes. They could be the freshest they ever been, air conditioning on the sideline, sitting on the recliner. They still will come in and give up a fucking touchdown. Dude, your offense is what's going to lead you, McDermott. You know what I mean? Let's go up tempo. Let's start. I would just love just one drive, at least one quarter, for them to attempt to go, you know what? Let's go up tempo here. Let's go a little no huddle. Let's see if at least this works. Because right now, to me, you're continuing the same path and it's leading it's not going anywhere. So at least try something different. And people are like, oh, well, you can't then James Cook won't be involved. That's a lie. The 90s Bills did it, and Thurman Thomas had 1,400 yards, 1,300 yards. They get theirs. They're still going to run the ball, but it's more up tempo. You're keeping the defense guessing now. What are they doing? They're going. They have no, them substituting gets harder and harder, right? They get I want to see that. And if it doesn't work, who cares? At least you tried.
The other thing
they won't do it.
The other thing that supports your point too is the defense rotates so much, almost for nothing. So if you run an up-tempo offense, you got so many guys on the defensive line you can rotate. It would make sense, but they don't do that. So
no, they won't do it. They just won't. And Sophia, I think Keon. All the reports are saying, all the reports. Now we'll see in game time, but they're pretty good sources. So more than likely, and me and Mikey talked about this on Friday because at first I was like, nah, I don't know if they'll do that to him because it's kind of, second-year player that really, psychologically, that's going to kind of fuck with him a little bit. But then he got to talking to me, and I'm like, damn, dude, maybe. Because you got to have two out. It's probably going to be Coleman and Coleman and Samuel. You know what I mean? Especially if Palmer's back, and you're putting, you're calling Gabe up and
I knew it.
Hardman. What happened?
So Adam Schefter just put out a report. It says, according to a source, Bills wide receiver Keon Coleman is inactive today because he missed a team meeting Friday morning. Until then, Bills planned to play him, but their plans changed when he missed the meeting.
Okay, so I've been talking about this too. I'm glad that kind of you brought that up and that popped up. And yes, Roy, I am Nostradamus. I am. I'm glad you pointed that out too, Roy. I appreciate it.
People need to know this. They do.
You need to know this, Roy, that I know everything. I'm Nostradamus. Okay, but I've been talking about this Keon Coleman thing with Mikey for 2 weeks now. The relationship right now that's going on with him and McDermott. And I actually talked to you, I think, last week about it, right? There's something going on there. And remember we said McDermott's really never benched a player for, whatever, like for fighting or for them having a problem, right? Like in locker room issues or whatever the hell's going on. It's only been a guy fumbled. He'll take him out for a couple plays, but there's a problem here. There's definitely an issue with him and McDermott and Coleman. I'll say this about him, and I think he's very frustrated. I think he's young, a little bit immature, though not his total fault. I'm just going with what I believe. And he's young. So young players are going to be a little immature, and that's okay. But I also feel like at the same time, they're doing them wrong in a way as well. So it's kind of like Coleman seems like the kind of player, like he's not going to just be like a yes man, or he's just not going to just go with the flow and, hey, you drafted me second round, I'm just going to keep quiet and shut my mouth and come in. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm not getting like, I don't see him as that either, but I also see him as a guy that, like, when I watch him on some of the All 22, I do see, I don't know if you saw it, but he seems like he's kind of half-assing it at times. Now, that could be too frustration, him saying, oh, I'm not getting involved anyways, fuck it. Yeah. But you still can't do that. I get the frustration. I do. I understand it. But you're still, it's a team thing, right? You're fighting with your teammates. You got to still put out some effort. So that part is where I'm talking about the immaturity level a little bit. Like that, you just got to suck it up, man, and do your thing. And if you want out, meaning, and I'm sure, by the way, I'm sure he's thinking that, play the season, do your thing, and then ask for a trade. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go ahead and get your move on and try to, take your skill set somewhere else, and maybe you can blossom somewhere else, where they give you an opportunity and put you in a better position. But, missing meetings and whatever else is going on, it's really not helping him. And once again, I'm not saying McDermott isn't to blame either here. I'm sure there's something going on there. I wouldn't put it past McDermott. He did, with the whole Diggs situation and that whole camp, him not there, and he was there, and he sent him home. And so who the hell knows what's going on between them two? But obviously,
well, I kind of do.
There's friction.
So
but yeah, you
based on conversations that I've had, I'll just leave it that way.
Yeah.
Based on conversations that I've had, it seems like Keon has the same issue with Sean McDermott and the offense that Diggs did. I think a lot of what Diggs's complaints were at the time that we were switching to the 12 formation and all that kind of stuff, was these types of concerns, how the receivers were going to be used, the production of the offense, and how that correlated to the same type of success that they, expected to see based on what they had. So I do know that Keon wants to be used in a lot of different ways than how he's being used now, where he's basically, you're either winning a jump ball, or you're winning a downfield back shoulder throw, or you've got to out physical the guy, in your hip pocket to try and go up and catch a deep pass. And that's not what he's really been at all in his career. You know what I mean? And no, I know he's had several conversations this offseason with Brady trying to be in his ear. Hey, listen, I need to be running these kind of routes. So this is a receiver that is doing what Stevie Johnson said needs to be done on the sideline, which is guys stepping up and speaking up and saying, hey, we need to do this. We need to do that. We need to work on this. We need to try that. But because he's a young guy, because he's in a very specific role not suited to him, he's pigeonholed right now. And what's happening to him is exactly what I said would happen when we drafted him. This guy is not a Buffalo type of guy, not from the standpoint of he can't get along with fans, but from the standpoint of he's not the type of guy that's going to just stand around and watch this kumbaya system that Sean is trying to instill here just go. Like, he's not going to ingratiate himself into that, because that's not who he is. He wants to win. And when you're a guy that wants to come into the NFL and just do your job and win and be yourself, Buffalo Bills, One Bills Drive is not the place for you to do that. You have to buy into to the culture. You have to buy in to all the monikers and the mantras and the ways of thinking in that building, or you're not going to fit in. And what that does is that puts all of the alpha type receivers, the guys who have a mindset and a mentality to make things happen on the field, out of the picture. We don't want deviation from the process. And Coleman represents a deviation from the process. So now he's being vilified the same way Diggs was, complaining, the arms up on the sideline. For Coleman, it's missing meetings, not being disciplined, not trying, all this kind of stuff that the team is allowing us to say about him now, so that when they bench him like they did today and when they excuse him from the team this offseason, nobody bats an eyelash that he was basically our first round pick last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything you said. Sean in the house, he's saying, hey, just you can't excuse missing. I agree with that part. Like I totally understand. Like you're for me, it's about you're still part of a team, right? You're letting your teammates down at that point, right? You're like I get you're not happy. And I totally agree with Aramis on that. Like, you gotta like. Here's the deal too, man. Like coordinators and coaches, whatever. They have to understand their player strengths. I've been saying this so long, right? You understand their strengths, you understand their weaknesses. You got to put them in better positions to succeed, right? I mean, that's just for everyone, right? Like, and I get like wanting a player to work on more, like trying to do that in the offseason, right? Get it going. And if it's not working, meaning it's not comfortable, or it's just not him. And sometimes, guys, it's like that. There's not every guy's a well-rounded receiver that could do everything, right? That's usually what ones are, right? Where they're just good at everything, right? Keon Coleman maybe just he has a certain skill set and he's comfortable with it, and then maybe they're just still trying to force shit on him that's just not really what he's accustomed to or he's played since he's been, a receiver, right? And once again, if they're trying to force it on him, or they didn't see like they wanted him to do something different when they drafted him, then that's their kind of fault, right? In a way, right? Like you knew what he was about in college, like, and you're trying to transform everybody into something different. Right. It's not going to work for everybody. Some players you can. Some players you could draft. Go, hey, I know you were a guard. We want to make you a tackle now. And some players, like Deion Dawkins, you can go from guard to tackle, and he worked out great and cool. But some guys, you just can't do that. Some guys are just meant to be at their position. They're comfortable with it, and or their skill set, whatever they may be. So I think when it comes to Coleman, it's that. There's a lot of frustration being built up. He's also not really heavily involved in the offense. And there's just a lot to it. But once again, I don't excuse that part either. You got a team. You got teammates. You got to still be there for them. And I feel like right now he's kind of letting him down with the whole half-assing it a little bit sometimes on the field. You can't do that, right? You still got to put your full effort out on the field. Because guess what? It's going to show up on film. And people are going to see that. And they're not going to necessarily go, oh, it's like we're doing, where we're going, hey, there's two sides to everything. There's always the other side of the coin. Most fans are going to look at the video and go, oh, fucking Coleman, fucking guy, get out of town. Like, right. You know what I mean? So he's going to get heat. But yeah,
I want to try to say something while not completely offending Sean. This
Sean, our friend Sean, or Sean McDermott Sean?
Our friend Sean. Our friend
Sean. Our friend Sean, who's right here, Sean. How you doing, Sean?
The mentality of these guys make millions of dollars, they should just do it, is such a fan mentality. It takes away the humanity of the player. It's not even funny. And if you want to relate it to what's relatable to us, think about Amazon jobs. Like I worked for Amazon for like 4 days, and I hated every second of it. Right? It's a scam. First of all, they make it so you can't take breaks. You got to pee in the bottle and all that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous.
Wow, all right, that's crazy.
But anyway, they have a certain pace that they want you to match, and there's an algorithm that Amazon has that shows, okay, based on this route, this is the time it's supposed to take them to do that. right? Now they pay $22.50. To some people, $22.50 might be a lot of money. To me, it wasn't really a lot of money, right? So looking at that parameter, right? Let's just take that parameter. $22.50, you got to work a certain pace, and if you do, you'll be successful. If you don't, or if you can't, or if there are certain factors that are in your life that preclude you from being able to match that pace, you got a problem. And for me, it was more personal and more interpersonal than anything else. I didn't fit the culture there at all. The people that work there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, I
just didn't mesh.
Right. So that was step one. Step two was, I can't take a lunch break. They literally make it so you can't take. Well, wait a second, this is a scam. New York State, you're supposed to be able to take a break, you know, in the middle of your shift. They scammed people out of it. Like they changed the thinking for the workers there so that they would take their break before they started their route. They would tell them it's New York State law. Okay, that's wrong, but that's what the people there believe, right?
Right.
I can't change that. I can't argue with that. They'll fire me right on the spot. Keon Coleman is in that spot. He can't come out publicly and tell people what's going on One Bills Drive. He will be ostracized from the NFL. Players don't do that, right? So when you're thinking money versus expectation, that's the scale, right? There was a certain number of money that I was getting paid. There was an expectation. I didn't fit the culture, and the money wasn't worth all of the other stuff that I had to deal with. So I checked out. And it's not the player's fault. It's not my fault for not knowing what that atmosphere would be like before I got there. And I think that's what you know what I'm saying? That's what Keon Coleman is dealing with. So if you really want to keep it relatable, that's how you keep it relatable. You can't say, well, he's making millions of dollars. He's supposed to, just because you feel like you would do whatever it takes to make $1 million doesn't mean somebody who's, you know, played the game all their life and has had opportunities given to them all their life because of their skill set, because of who they are, because of what they do on a football field. That's Keon's life. He's used to getting and people giving and you know, maybe he doesn't go to a meeting and you know, on his college team. So what? He's still one of the best players on the team. Get me the ball, we'll win. That's the bottom line. Not saying that it should be okay for him to miss meetings, but the way that this is being brought out, I guarantee that he is not the only player that has ever missed a meeting. The issue here is the pick that we gave for him, the fact that the team continues to put him on the field as much as they do and force him to play a certain role that's not suited to him. And because the expectation is where it is because of where we drafted him, that's why everybody is ishing on him right now. That's why he's getting the blame that he's getting. It is not his fault. It's not.
Okay. You know, I agree with you for the most part. I do think he's still, now I still think, like I said, I'll go back to it again. It's still a team game. He still needs to be there for his teammates and still needs to put the effort in, regardless if he's not happy. Like that part, the effort part kind of bothers me a little bit. Like, I get what you're saying and I'm totally with that. Like, but you still, you got teammates that are like your family. Like, you know what they say. It's like a brotherhood. You're in the locker room. Like, you can't half-ass it, right? Like, you got to still go out there.
Well, how do we know he's half-assing? How do we know?
Well, I'm just saying, like, some of the plays that I've seen, you could kind of tell he's kind of jogging it out. Now, I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe there's but it just kind of seems that way to me. And once again, I'm not on the field. I have no idea. You know, I haven't talked to him personally and probably never will. But
so let me ask you this question real quick. So if let's say the Bills traded for AJ Brown and AJ Brown goes out on the field and he knows the ball is not coming to him and he kind of runs a similar route and he kind of half-asses it. Are we going to kill him for that? No. Bills team.
So that's you got a great point, and that is a great point. That's kind of like the whole. We cut Matt Ariza because he's a punter, but we didn't cut Von Miller because he's a. I'm with that, right? Well, AJ Brown, who's a top tier receiver, will we treat him the same as a second year player? Who I totally get. I'm with that, and I kind of agree with that to a point as well. Like but that, you know what? That's not just this team. I think every team.
He said, "Are you going to bench me?"
Yeah, I know.
Because
right?
I was late.
Oh, who said that? Buffalo.
Buffalo Snowy 7.
Oh my God, dude, that's funny. Yeah, he was late. He was definitely late. That's all right. He couldn't get into his X. But look, man, at the end of the day, look, Sean, I think and I say this all the time, man. We're all gonna see things differently. That's our human nature. We all gonna have opinions and takes, and that's all right. But at the end of the day, I get what you're saying, Sean. I understand that part. Like players need to adapt. They need to try to get better at their craft. I'm with that. I agree with that in a way, right? But I think my point to this, Sean, is not every player is going to, even if they try to adapt, is going to be their strong suit. Meaning, even if he adapts and he tries his best, maybe he's just not, he can't just be that good at that, what they're trying to push him to do. Get what I'm saying? So, if you're trying to put a player in a better position, at least showcase his strong suit, meaning put him out there in better positions to help the team. Because we're talking about a team game, right? So if you got all these receivers and I said this before, Keon Coleman, listen, we're realistic. We know Keon Coleman's not a 1. He's a good player, and he could be a good receiver in this league, but he's not a well-rounded receiver, right? He's not a top 10 receiver. We know this. But this whole receiving group all has something that they do well. And you got to understand that. And that's why we're not really putting them in better positions. That's what I keep telling you guys. Like, we're kind of forcing them to be what they're not. And we really, to be truthful, guys, we're doing it with Josh Allen as well. So, like I keep telling you guys, like, it's not just about the receivers. Josh Allen's being boxed, and we're telling him to do things that he's not comfortable with. Hey, just do it, because you know what? You got to. And
there are people out there blaming Josh for how he's playing right now.
Absolutely. And once again, I understand it. I get where your guys are kind of going with, but why? Like, why? If what he's comfortable with works for him and we score and we're looking much better, why would you force him to do something total opposite for what? For me, it doesn't make sense. You got a player. You know what you have. You know what he does well. Why would you go away from it just because you want your offense to be this way? Yep. It doesn't make sense. Like, that part I don't agree with. I agree with trying to make yourself better player to get, like I said, to better your craft and be able to be a well-rounded football player. But you still got to play where you still got to call plays that best suit your players on the field.
Right.
And I think that's what Aramis is saying. That's what I'm saying. And it's not, it's like, once again, the proof is in the pudding, guys. We're watching an offense that's clunky, that players don't seem happy.
Yep.
Josh Allen looks totally lost at times. He looks frustrated. You can hear it in his press conferences that he's not happy. He's not going to tell you, but if you read between the lines, he's kind of telling you, right? Like, when have you guys ever seen Josh Allen talk this way? It's been a long time.
Yep. Even Brady's talking that way. Even Brady's talking.
Even Brady.
Yeah, because Brady was saying in his post-game presser after the Dolphins game, like, he comes out and says, well, I wanted to pass the ball more earlier in the game. Nobody even bothered to ask, why didn't you do it, right? But what does he also go on to say? He talked about the first down runs, and the face he made when he said first down runs is like he was so fed up with first down runs. The Bills run on first down more than any team in the league right now.
Mm-hmm. Predictable.
Exactly.
Right. So I get why he wants to switch, right?
Right. So if you don't get 5 yards on first down, guess what? You're automatically behind the sticks. You're in predictable second and long. You're in predictable third and long.
Right.
And now the pass is that much more ineffective. We are in an age and an era of football where passing has to be first in your offense, or you are not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we're not saying not be a balanced team. You still could be balanced, but you don't always have to be predictable and run the ball first down. Run the ball for, like, guys, you can set up play action on first down. Right. You can do a lot of different things. Yep. You don't need to be so predictable, and that's a problem with Joe Brady, and that could be also a problem with Sean McDermott. I have no idea. And somebody mentioned it way early, and I'm sorry I'm not getting to a lot of your chats. I really am. I'm trying my best. But that, McDermott has a lot that McDermott, because he's a defensive-minded head coach, it's tough for those kind of coaches to really help the offense, like figure it out, right? And that's really what we're seeing here. Like McDermott doesn't know offense, and I don't even know if he knows defense that well. Right? So McDermott chiming in, right, has his hand in the cookie jar on both offense and defense.
For sure.
Is a problem, right? Like I want him to stay way away from the offense. And I understand what he wanted as a head coach. Like I get his philosophy, but it's ruining the offense, and it's really setting this team back because he wants it his way. It has to be his way, and we have to have these long, methodical drives. Greg Olson, I don't know if you recall that, and like against the Panthers, the commentator who was here, right? He served under. He knows McDermott very well, and said, "This is what he likes. This is what he wants." These long, and the problem, guys, is this. What happened against Miami when you have these long 9-minute drives and shit happens, right? And it does. Happens a lot in games. A mistake, right? A fumble, offsides, and now you have to punt after 7-minute drive, right? When you got no points on the board and you're trailing and you do a 9-minute drive, you're fucking yourself. Like you're killing your own game. You're killing the clock. You're just total. So the whole long drive thing is fine if you could fucking execute every single time, but we don't. We do not, folks. So that's my problem. I don't want him involved with the offense. I want the offense to just go up tempo, put points on the board, and fuck his defense should hold regardless of how long they've been on the sideline for. If the offense scores in less than 3 minutes, good.
Yeah.
So fucking what? Your defense should hold.
The biggest, most egregious thing that everybody seems to want to ignore is this is a head coach that is investing over half of his salary cap to his defense that cannot perform in the playoffs. And nobody wants to blame him. Nobody wants to talk about his influence on the offense. Nobody wants to talk about anything that he does. They talk about the job that Brandon Beane has done. Why? Because it shows up in the players on the field. They talk about Joe Brady. Why? Because this franchise is not built like a traditional franchise. The GM does not have the power that everybody thinks the GM has. It is the head coach that was hired first. The head coach hired the GM, chose his own GM. Now the GM comes and does what the head coach wants him to do. That's how it works here. So when we're looking at the reason I am such a player apologist is because I've done the research to understand how this franchise operates from the inside out. I'm actually going back and rereading the Tyler Dunn report, the Sean McDermott problem, to try and see, how some of that information correlates with what we're seeing now. And so much of it has been exposed just this year. Like you want to talk about, and I mentioned this on my show Friday. You want to talk about a guy that plays the blame game more than most coaches you see. What is the first thing that Sean McDermott comes out and says? Well, I would have liked to, played a more complimentary game. Well, what does he call complimentary most often? He talks about the offense when he's saying complimentary. You got to play complimentary football, right? Then he goes on to say we had a bunch of 3-and-outs and we couldn't move the ball very much. And then he says right after that, I thought the defense played well. And, we gave up a couple of big runs in the second half there. Really? And he says this even after divisional round losses to the Chiefs here at home. Yep. He's said that before. This is a head coach that is completely out of touch with his team, and it shows in how the players behave. But instead of understanding all of this context of how the Buffalo Bills operate, we get mad at the player for not doing what we think they should do because we revere the franchise so much. We revere the position of head coach so much. We revere the position of GM so much. It is mind-boggling to me how people can stand there and just think old school traditional structure and ignore all of the cues and all of the information that is there at your fingertips. Stop letting these people fool you with what's going on the field right now. It is the head coach that is telling the coordinator what to do. Not only that, the coordinator, Joe Brady's got to share responsibilities with Aaron Kromer, and that is enough of an added responsibility to confuse things. Then we wonder why it takes so long to get a play in and why we keep running the play clock down so low before we snap the ball. You got three guys communicating on an offense at that point in time. Sean is saying, I want to run the ball here on 3rd and 1. Then Aaron Kromer has to say, okay, well, I like these couple of plays. And then Brady has to go, okay, let me see here. All right, I'm going to choose this one based on Kromer's recommendation. I've talked to players before. That's how this works when you got multiple guys running an offensive system. We've not had that here before. Let me say it again. We've not had that here before. You know where they did have that? In Carolina. That's where Sean got the idea from. But we just want to keep letting it happen.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, it seems like it's happening on defense too. Yeah. Reason why he called timeouts in that game, because he couldn't get the defensive play call in time. So guys were scrambling, and he was calling unnecessary timeouts because he had to, right? And that, once again, that's on Sean. Sean, like, Aramis is 1,000% right. And I'm not saying that, other people aren't to blame too. Like, of course they're. Like, everybody has to look in the mirror on why this team is kind of struggling the way they are right now this season. However, the truth is right there, guys. McDermott's been here 9 years with the same problems. He is the puppet master. The dude was hired here by Terry Bagula and Kim Bagula. He went through a draft, fired the GM, hired his buddy in Carolina, which is Brandon Beane, which is super rare. So right there that Terry Bagula and Kim Bagula gave the keys to Sean McDermott to run the show. Mm-hmm. He's the one that went out. Look, Terry Bagula said, hey, here's my checkbook. Go ahead and get your guy. Right? He had no say on that, to be honest with you. All he had was the checkbook, and he wrote the amount. He brought in Brandon Beane. He probably talked to Brandon Beane and said, this is what I want. This is what you need to do. Go and get these ingredients. I keep saying it. I'm not saying Beane's not to blame on some of these things. He absolutely he's part to blame as well. But he can only do so much with a coach that controls the everything, that wants his way. He wants the ingredients this way. And if you're not on board, he can get cut too. And I really truly believe that Beane would go before McDermott. It's not going to be a tie to the hip thing. McDermott's shown before he's going to cut strings. He'll cut his offensive coordinator year one. He'll cut his special teams coach now twice. He'll cut Leslie Frazier and say it was a mutual agreement. He'll cut Joe Brady if needed. Matter of fact, he's thrown Joe Brady under the bus like 3 times this season, maybe more, in press conferences where Brady didn't even know. And Brady got on and was like, they talked about cute play calling. He's like, what, cute play calling? Yeah, your head coach said it. You didn't hear him? I didn't think it was cute play calling. So we got a problem there. So there was some friction already building up in that department. And so if friction's building up between coaches, McDermott's gonna go, okay, see you later, right? Go fucking, do you want to part mutual agreement? You want to part ways? And then he's gonna call the next guy up, who's gonna be the next guy on the string. If you notice, guys, there's a routine here. He doesn't hire guys on the outside for the most part, not for offense coordinator, for defense coordinator. He may go out and get a receivers coach, from a different college or something, but not big positions. He wants to have control on the defensive side and offensive side. So if he goes, it's going to be the next guy up. And, that's how it goes with McDermott, guys. And McDermott's not going anywhere. So I could complain, and, Aramis can too. And that's why I kind of stopped making videos about our head coach, because he's not going anywhere. And the problem too is, guys, Terry Bagula, from what I saw early on, Terry and Kim was more on the football side of things. Unfortunately, she had, the stroke and whatever's going on. So she's not even really, it's Terry in charge now. And Terry it's not his thing. He's a business guy. He gave the keys to McDermott. It's McDermott's show, and he's just happy he's making money. It has nothing to do with, he could care less. You know what I mean? He cares about the dollars and what makes sense. So Kim, I think maybe would have done something by now. Maybe. I could be wrong, but I think she would have at least had her hand in things a little bit more. But yeah, What else? What's going on, Nathan? Both Keon and Moore being inactive. Yeah. No, it's not to me. I kind of had a feeling even before I heard the report that came out that he missed. I just kind of was putting the writing on the wall. And I think that's more about him being late too. I think it's a little bit of everything. I just don't think they're on the same page, and I think there's a problem there. And this could be Keon's last year. And if I'm Keon, honestly, I'm not waiting around like Kyer Elam. Go ahead and get me out of here. I understand we're just not compatible, and that's okay, guys. Once again, it's all right. You know what I mean? Keon should just say, hey, you know what I mean? I'll give it my all this year. Like, you know, do what you got to do and ask for a trade. Like, it's as simple as that. And you know what? The Bills will probably grant it. They probably will. Because why would they hold on to a guy that doesn't want to be there and it's already having problems? And McDermott will kick him out anyway. So if you're not going to play him, you learned your lesson. You did that with Kyer Elam for 4 years, 5, whatever that, how long he was here. What a waste. You could have just traded him and got a little bit more value before that went downhill. We'll see what they do with Keon, but right now, not looking good. This is the issue. It's a hate McDermott over giving anyone else blame. See, you're missing the point, Sean. Once again, dude, I just went over. I said a lot of people need to look in the mirror. We're not just pointing a finger at the head guy. But however, I'll say this. You got a GM. First of all, you got an owner, GM, head coach, and quarterback. Those are your 4 guys, right? That fans generally and respectively should point the finger at when things are going great and point the finger at when things are going not so great. That's the nature of the beast, right? That's how it works. Sean McDermott has been here 9 seasons, right? Say what you want about Bean, but the problems we've had have mostly been on his side of the ball. It's a defensive-minded head coach with defensive problems. We're here year 9 with defensive problems, right? Things aren't getting any better anytime soon. We're still having problems. He's still not changing his ways as a head coach. He's still, blaming others. That's why I think we put a little bit more point and blame to Sean McDermott, and it's rightfully so. That's the nature of the beast. Just like a quarterback, right? That's the quarterback's responsibility, even if it's not his fault. Why do you think Josh Allen goes to the podium and most star quarterbacks put the blame on them? Because that's what comes with the territory. Sean doesn't. McDermott never has put the blame on him. He never will. It's a big difference, right? That's not the kind of guy he is. Look at Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell will go to the podium and rip himself if they play poor. That's on me. Terrible job by me. I need to be better. That's unacceptable. That's the kind of coach you want. And those players that play for Dan Campbell, they go to war for him. That's the kind, because they know he has their back. Do the players really know Sean McDermott has their back here? No, do the coordinators really think they have his back? I don't think so.
Right. He doesn't. So again, and this is, to me, this is part of the flaw in Sean's Sean Kula's understanding of how this all operates. Because he asked a question earlier. He says, "Well, if you guys no showed to work, wouldn't you get fired?" Well, the NFL is not it's classified as a job, yes, but these players are independent contractors.
Correct.
Right. So what that means is you sign a contract to make your services available to a company, and your value to that company is determined based on your production to that company. Right. And that also includes how that company uses your services. So in this particular case, is Coleman an employee? Technically, no, he's not an employee of the Buffalo Bills, because if he was an employee of the Buffalo Bills, there would be certain benefits and all that kind of stuff according to New York State that would apply to him, right? I'll give you a prime example. I drive Uber and Lyft. I'm an independent contractor, right?
Now, 1099, baby.
Right. So what does that mean? That technically means I'm not an employee of Lyft or Uber. Right. I make money based off of, our combined efforts, my services plus their software equals payment for both parties. Now, correct. This team profited so much last season, both economically and equity wise from the fans on the drafting of Keon Coleman. There were people who did a lot of scouting and didn't love the pick, but they loved the person. There were a lot of people who loved the person didn't really know too much about whether or not he should have been picked. They talked about the cookies. They talked about the bubble coat. They talked about all this stuff that equaled money for the Buffalo Bills. Let's be honest about what this is. It equaled money for the Buffalo Bills. So they've already made money off of Keon Coleman's services right now. Whether he's producing the way they want him to produce or not is really irrelevant at this point, because we know, and most people who know football know, he's not being used in a way that serves the draft pick that he was taken at, right? So what does all that mean? What that means is, at the end of this season, if they wanted to part ways with him, they absolutely could. Why? Because he's an independent contractor. Now, for Keon Coleman, if he wanted to leave, could he leave? Absolutely. According to his contract, he probably wouldn't be able to play for another team until the contract expired, if the Bills didn't want to let him out of that deal. But he could easily just say, no, I want to go do something else. Most people who have a regular job have to do what? You got to put it in 2 weeks. Otherwise, you get blacklisted, right? So there's a lot of different, like, context is everything to me. It really is. And that's why I take such heart to all of the nuance to being a player in the NFL, because from the 90s up to now, there's been this kind of uptick in player empowerment. And we've seen what that does for the NBA, and how that's put the NBA kind of on this, next level, a pedestal of fan engagement and all that kind of stuff. And the NFL, the NFLPA has been trying to get to that place for years. And it's the owners that have been trying to stand in the way of that. Why? Because they don't want the guaranteed contracts, because they don't want these players running the league like the players in the NBA do now. Yeah. They don't want to lose that power. It's a power struggle right now. So if you want this franchise to continue to operate in this power struggle with players, you're going to continue to see players like Coleman get drafted and wonder why we can't get players that are good enough. You wonder why we can't get DeAndre Hopkins when he first leaves the Texans. You wonder why we can't get OBJ when he comes available from the Browns. Like, these are players that absolutely could have helped us when we had Stephon Diggs, and we could have seen an offense like what the Rams have this season, or we could have seen an offense like what we've seen the Bengals do on offense this season. Like, these are things that were there for us to have, but because of a mentality here where we think everything has to be blue collar, everything has to be like how we think it should be. Right. We don't allow ourselves to be open to these possibilities of, hey, maybe we should empower the players. Maybe we'll get better players. Maybe we'll see more production. How do you think the Eagles have been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years? Yeah. Like, their fan base is not sitting there saying, you know what, I'm just happy we won 1 Super Bowl. No, they're saying, you know what, 2 years ago we should have won that one too. Right. Why can't we think that way? Yep. Crazy.
Sean coming in. So, Aramis, let me ask you, why is Keon the only, capital letters, one skipping and being late if everyone hates it? I'll be here waiting.
If everyone hates it?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
Rephrase your question. I'm not 100% sure.
I can tell you with the utmost certainty, Keon Coleman is not the only player to have missed a meeting or been late to a meeting. I can tell you that with the utmost certainty, he has not been. What it comes down to is he's the most high-profile player to have done it. That's really what it comes down to. On top of that, all of the media swirling around, talking about his production, talking about his draft, where he was drafted, that gives Sean an out on that. And that's something that they haven't had with Kaiir Elam. You notice Kaiir Elam stayed under the radar every single season. He was either hurt or we just never heard anything about Kaiir Elam. Why? Because he was drafted in the first round, and Sean did not want the attention coming on the draft process. He wants it to be on the player, not the draft process. If it gets on the draft process, you start to realize the job that he does, now he's on the hot seat and not the player. That's why we're focused on what we're focused on now. It's propaganda.
Yeah, I'm with you. Caesar, 8 years, trust the process is like a religion. Do same thing, get same result. And listen, Caesar, I'm 1,000% like, that's another thing. Like, it's all like, it's all crap, man. Look, the whole everybody eats was a lie. Basically, it was a way to mask or distract fans from the reality of cutting Diggs. right? You're number one, losing money because you cut him. And now, guys, forget about all that. Forget that we lost this guy. Forget that we're eating the money. We got this everybody eats thing. It's fucking cool. You're going to really you guys are going to like it. We got shirts coming out. So go ahead and get to BuffaloBills.com. Go to get the Everybody Eats shirts. It's going to be fucking great. And that's what they did, right? It's smoke and mirrors, right? Until fans wisen up, right? And they eventually go, wait a minute. Right? What is this shit? It's not working.
Yep.
Right? You lied to me. So, like, the whole trust the process is the same thing. Of course, like every press conference that a coach has ever done in the history that I've ever watched the Buffalo Bills, and we've been through a ton of coaches. Of course, they say you gotta. That they all say it. When they come out, they all say the same thing. It's all coach speak. You know, we're gonna get Buffalo. You got to trust process. We're gonna get things going. We're gonna get Buffalo back on them. And it's like, yeah. Look, after a few years, I'm cool with that. I'll trust the process for about 3 years. I've always said about 3 years, you got to show me something. But after that, you got to show me more, right? I need more, right? Like, I can't keep going down the same path every season. And that's where I think a lot of like Bills Mafia now are probably starting to be like, man, I like Sean McDermott. Now I get it. Like it's like Groundhog season, right? It's the same fucking thing every year. We're talking about the same thing. Guys, I promise you, it's the same offseason talk. I might as well play just my old show from last year and just replay them every offseason for you guys. Because it's the same thing. I'm going to be talking about the same thing come offseason about what we need on defense, the draft, and this. And we're going to do all our mock drafts, and we're going to get none of the players that we want, that we think this team needs, because we're going to go in the total opposite direction. And it's going to be the same fucking thing, and we're going to be here again. Yeah. And that is not, you know what? Yeah, that's a process, all right. It's a process of doing the same fucking bullshit every goddamn year and getting the same results. So that's why I think a lot of Bills Mafia are like, fuck this. And we do got a super chat. Did I miss that super chat? Oh my God, I feel terrible. No. Where is it?
Oh, it's right here. That one, yeah.
We got one. I also missed another one. Hold on real quick, because, man, I feel terrible.
Thank you very much.
That guy. All right. Keon making cookies. Let me get
at home baking cookies. Wow.
Oh, Keon. Let me get to this one.
Thank you very much.
Right. What up, Jack? I appreciate it. It says, when the season's over, or whenever, y'all should do a big panel with both your channels and Ralph Rant. This could be really fun. Yeah, look, man, I'm going to tell you right now, man, I would 1,000% do that. Ralph I met him this year, really good guy. Had him on my show as a guest. You know, like I said, we become friends, a good guy. And then obviously post podium. Come on. Those are my dudes. And real quick, and I'm not going to go on and on about it, but post podium, Aramis the Keys, those are my guys, man. We talk daily. Good friends of the show. We will forever be, right? We've had each other's backs, and I know you guys don't know this, but we've known each other for a couple years now, and we have great relationship. And that's why Aramis is my co-host on a pregame show and will continue to be. And that's why whenever he needs me, I'm there. Whenever they need me, he knows I'm a phone call away. So yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna tell you right now, in this business that we're in, whatever you want to call it, there's some shady people in this podcast world, okay? And, once you meet the good ones, stay, you stay with those good ones, okay? So, it's been an honor to work with you, Aramis, and get to know you, and same with Keys, and getting to know guys like Ralph. So, yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do that, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So, for anyone that wants to know. Robert. See, 3 fallacy slogans from the Bills. We're going to learn from this and trust the process and do your 111th. Yeah. And also don't forget, complimentary football, and you got to watch. We're going to watch film, and there's some plays that we wish we had back, and the good stuff. Don't forget about McDermott fired Cromer for Wayne, for one of his friends, Castillo. I don't remember that. I know Cromer.
Oh yeah, Cromer was here when Sean first got here. That's
he first got here, but I think that I don't know what happened with that, but either way, it couldn't have been that bad if Cromer came back, the relationship. So, but look, I will say this, probably the only position coach on the team that probably won't take a shit would be probably Cromer. The guys, he knows his value. He knows that he could leave at any point and be
the best offensive line in the NFL.
Right, exactly. So he has a little bit of, he has some pull. So like, he's not gonna be on. And look, and if that ever happens, he'll just throw a fucking beach chair at him. So that's just not gonna.
Dang.
They'll be scrapping in the fucking locker room. Spin, Lafa. No, I just got here. I heard Tommy compliment Aramis. Yeah, of course I'm complimenting Aramis. Good guy. Paul, we got to be better also. Of course we do. Look, once again, everybody has to do their job, right? We're not just, once again, pointing out McDermott, but he is a problem, and he's been a problem, and we're going to always point that out, but 1,000% accurate. Allen needs to do better. The receivers need to do better. Everybody tackling. Of course, we're not just pointing out one guy and going, "Oh, it's all McDermott."
Right.
But anyways, we're done with our little banter about that and the Keon thing. It's all over. And I heard earlier somebody said he was walking his dog. He was late. Either way, it doesn't matter. He was late. You're late. You're late. You're late. You're late. But Aramis is right. There's probably been many players throughout the years of Buffalo that have been 5'10", maybe missed the meaning, right? Mm-hmm. That you didn't hear about, right? And I'm sure of it, guys. It's been 9 years. You're telling me Keon's the only guy ever? Of course not. However, because of the friction that they're having, because of things that are going on, he's probably going to be a little bit more hard on when it comes to Keon. He's going to be a little bit more. That's what he does, right? McDermott likes to kind of pick on certain players. And unfortunately, Keon's going to he's one of them. And that's why if I'm Keon after the season, I'm just asking for a trade. It's really simple. Do what you got to do this season. Be a good teammate, right? And because I'll be honest with you, other coaches are going to see that, right? At least show your worth out there. Show that you're going to be, hey, you know what? I'm not happy, but I'm going to fucking give my 1,000% out there. And then you know what? Other coaches or GMs are going to go, okay, it just wasn't a good fit. Yeah, he put the effort. I'll trade him. It matters. It really does. So I hope at least that part of him has, because I know he's not happy, but at least I hope that he puts the effort and goes, fuck it. I'm just going to do what I got to do. I'm going to play my best football, and I'm going to let my work show for it on the field, and I'm going to ask for a trade. And it's as simple as that. And you know what? They'll probably grant it. And that's fine. You know what I mean? And you know what? I'll watch him. Like I watch every Buffalo Bill player that leaves here, and I'll monitor him, and I'll see what he does outside. Because if you go somewhere else and it's a problem there too, missing, they're having problems, then I'll say, you know what? Okay, it was the guy's just, it's just he's a little immature, whatever I'll say at that time. But right now, I feel like there's a lot on him, and he's not helping himself either at the same time. And McDermott's just not the easiest guy to probably get along with, and it's just not. Oil and water. Yeah. I think it's oil and water right now with those two. Oh, we got the most interesting man in the chat. So let's see, because this is going to be interesting. Hello, Tommy. I have went to my doctor. He said I'm going to be having physical therapy on Friday, December 5th for my left knee. I'm getting knee surgery on December 8th. Keep me in, of course, I'll keep you in your prayers, Mr. The most interesting man in the chat having knee surgery. Good. I hope everything goes well, man. Spin, Tommy likes to pick on McDermott. Oh, boy. Is that McAramis rubbing off on Tommy or Tommy rubbing off on here? I think it's a combination, bro. That's the one thing me and Aramis is always – I'll say that. We will never disagree on McDermott conversations. That's one thing I think brought us together. Right? Yep. Fuck that guy. Let's see here. Matt C. Bills need 2 legitimate wide receivers in the offseason, a legit 1 and a solid 2. Trey Keon in a package for BTJ, and that's not going to happen, and a wide receiver early. However, look, I get your point, but honestly, a 1 would probably be enough because the 1 opens it up for everybody else. And that's where you saw like the best of Keon Coleman when he was here. You know, I'm not saying don't get, if there's an opportunity, of course you go out and try to get another valuable, you know, good solid number 2. But a 1 usually opens it up for everybody else and makes life so much easier. And that's the whole point of having a 1, right? That's the whole point. And I got to say, Aramis, too, I looked around the league, bro. Allen really they gave him nothing. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Cook is great. I love Cook, but I'm talking about in the passing game. They've like around the league, most quarterbacks, I think all of them actually, even Tua has as a receiver. They all have somebody that is a 1 they can rely on. And I ask this question to everybody. On a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, when we need a big play, right? It's a must-have. Who is the go-to? Who is the guy that Josh Allen, they're drawing up a play right now, right? We need this. Who's the guy?
The guy is,
you know what I mean? Like the real guy that Allen can go, yeah, that's I'm going here. You know what I mean? I would say
the guy who's always hurt.
Kincaid.
Kincaid is the only true man beater on this team.
He is, but at the same time, right? He's hurt a lot, and
that's my point.
He's a I get it, but you know, like, and he's also dropped some passes when we, So, you have to have that kind, like, and that's the other thing too, guys, that we didn't talk about earlier about the receiving room and all that. Right? When you're a quarterback, and this is very important. This is another thing I gotta say. When you're a quarterback, especially Josh Allen, or just any quarterback, any quarterback, you build a trust with these receivers. You build trust, you have a chemistry, and in order to do that, right, you need time you have to have time on the field together. You have to have reps, right? These guys need more than 2 targets, 3 targets a game, right? 2 and 1 is not going to, 2 targets to more a game is not going to ever get confidence between them two. Their chemistry's never going to be there, ever. You need more time. That's 1. 2, these guys are here 1 year. Like, they're gone. 1 and done, gone. You got to have that chemistry, right? And that's, like, say what you want about Gabe, and I understand, look, like, everyone's not big on Gabe Davis. However, they had so many reps while he was here that he gave him opportunities that they were on the same page. They had that chemistry. Allen knew, okay, you know what? I'm going to fucking toss it 50 yards here. I kind of trust this guy. Like, I've given him chances before. He's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Is he doing the same with Curtis Samuel? Probably not. You know what I mean? Because how often have they gone for those kind? How many targets has Curtis Samuel really, truly seen other than wide receiver screens or bubble screens? Like, that's not, you know what I mean? So, for me right now, there's only 2 guys on this team that Allen's truly has a chemistry with or has trust in. That's Shakir and Kincaid and Knox. Well, actually 3, I'm sorry. Knox is one of them too. Like, I think he does believe in Knox, but Knox isn't really heavily involved in the offense. So let's just kind of scratch that out.
Yep.
So really there's 2. There's Shakir and Kincaid. Kincaid hurt a lot. Shakir also with the ankle tends to be hurt a lot. So now you're down to what? You're down to 1-year guys. You're down to Curtis Samuel, 3-year guy. Sorry, 3-year guy really never even on the field. So let's call him a 1-year guy anyways. He'll be combined 1 year of playing time when it's done here. Then you got Elijah Moore, who's never involved. Palmer, who just today. Yeah, exactly. Palmer, who has really been a no-show even when he's been on the field, and now I think he's active today.
Yeah.
But still, they don't go to him a lot. And Keon Coleman, clearly, there's a kind of a disconnect.
Yeah.
That's a problem, folks. So what do you want Allen to do? You know what I mean? That's why I keep saying to you guys, I get that there's some players open. I get that. I'm not saying that Allen doesn't pull the trigger when he needs. Sometimes there is. But I also feel like to you know, that he doesn't trust it enough to make the throw. And that's because he's not really throwing much to them their way. Like their plays aren't being called for them. And a lot of these plays, guys, too, are plays that are called in and then they're off script because the play breaks down. So then it's scramble drill mode. Then it's easy to say, oh, so-and-so is open. Of course he is now that the play fucking broke down. But Allen's eyes are gone from that. He is not looking over there anymore. Now he's thinking, I got to get the fuck out of town, right? I got to move out of here and make a play happen. So, guys, easier said than done when we look at film sometimes or pause it and go, guys open. Dude, the play, you got to look at the whole play. Kind of got to break it down, see what happened. I'm not saying he doesn't miss passes, but at the same time, you got to build chemistry too. And if Allen's only throwing 22 attempts and your guys are getting 2 targets, they're never going to build a chemistry ever. So that's where I'm at with the passing game. It has to be better. And to Aramis's point way back when we started the podcast today, he said it. You got to start passing a little more. You got to start passing more, getting these guys more opportunities. The more opportunities they get, the more comfortable they're going to get in the offense, the more comfortable Josh is going to get throwing to these guys, giving them more opportunities. If he's only throwing so many times, guys, he's just going to be kind of picking who he trusts the most, and that's Shakir and Kincaid. And that's kind of results we're seeing right now.
Yeah,
defense has stopped the run. And we're kind of in this, we're like stuck in the mud, right? We don't, Allen's like, who do I go to now? What do we do here? What do we do, Brady? Like, call it in.
Yep.
You're going to scheme something up for me, Brady? No. Oh, everything's short underneath. Check down.
I don't know if you had a chance to hear, who had it? One Bills Live, Chris Brown and Steve Tasker had, they had, gosh, what is his name now? Greg Cassell. They had Greg Cassell on the show. He does a weekly spot. And one of the things that he talked about, because, they asked him, how do you fix this offense? And what he said was, in order to see a change in production, you're going to need to do some things schematically to help the receivers out. And I'll combine that with the report that you sent me on how Brady runs his offense, where it's basically on the receiver to just go out there and get open for themselves.
Yes.
So
sorry to cut you off. So I'll read that part so then you can continue. So this was actually, there was 2 articles, Aramis. So there was one by SI and there was one by I think it was Sports Nation. They put this when he was there. Simply put, the Panthers run do not resemble their drop back game, which makes dissecting post-snap plays easier for defenders. Brady's designs did not put the Panthers in enough advantages situations either. Instead, he repeatedly asked receivers to win their respective matchups rather than scheming them open. It says, for example, quarterback Cam Newton only used play action only 9 times over the past 2 weeks. So, great example there. So he's asking his receivers just to go ahead. So he's not scheming them up in a better situation. He's not making these their life easier by scheming it up by getting different route combinations, different route trees, whatever you want to call it, to help these guys on the field. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. But yeah, there was that article for that.
Yeah. So when you look at what Greg Cassell said, he talked about, okay, if you want to see, production from this team now, you're going to have to do some things schematically to help them. So what that means is you need to change how you line up at the line of scrimmage. You need to do some bunch formations. You need to run more rub routes. You need to do some things like that where you're giving receivers an open release to be able to get to a spot fast enough where they're not being hand checked the entire time. So these are some of the things that we either should expect to see today or be ready to criticize for them not doing. The only issue with that is we've seen that this is a team that doesn't change until they absolutely have to. And if I'm being perfectly honest, the Bills could lose the next 2 games and still maybe not be in a position where they absolutely have to. And when I say absolutely have to, I mean in true danger of missing the playoffs. They could lose the next 2 games and still make the playoffs based on the numbers, but once you get to losing that Texans game, now your back's up against the wall. You lose one more game, you are on the bubble for sure with a lot of teams in the AFC.
Oh, dude, I know. I've been going over that schedule, folks, and it's they better get their act together, because right now it's forget the division. I just don't think that's happening. Right now it's all about getting into the playoffs, right, at this point. So they need to get their act together. Tommy and Aramis, please email McDermott and Brady. Is it okay to throw passes beyond the first? Yeah, that's the other thing too. Everything's short and underneath everything. I mean, I read a stat the other day for Khalil Shakir. It was crazy. It was like, I don't know, it was like 49% of the passes thrown his way is like
at or behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, which is wild. Like, it should never be, folks. What are we doing here? Like, I don't know. But to go back on Brady, look, at the end of the day, either when I'm reading in 2021, it's still happening today. That tells me two things: either he can't change his ways, like he just doesn't know how to, or he doesn't want to. So there's only the two. There can't be any else, right? Yeah. So, the whole thing about the LSU thing too, once again, I didn't do my homework. He was only the pass game coordinator. Like, the guy in the article even said that. He's like, look, the guy wasn't even calling plays at LSU. So everyone who thought like this guy's the guy, like, he was only helping. Now that he had the opportunity to actually be the OC, it's not gone well, right? Like this is not. And he gave him credit too. He's like, hey, he's young, he's smart, but at the same time, he's playing a vanilla type offense. He's not doing it. Like, he has his issues. He's showing his age and his lack of, or a first year OC or whatever in the NFL. He's like, here we go. But you know what, that go well there.
You know what that comes down to? That comes down to, because I really had to think deeply about that too. Once I found out that he was just a pass game coordinator there and he didn't call plays like that. Once I saw that, I'm like, so why does Matt Rule hire him then? Because I understand
Matt Rule is a bad coach.
Well, so I agree with that wholeheartedly. Right. But my thought was this: guys like Matt Rule, and really, there are only maybe 3 defensive-minded head coaches in the NFL that have not done this. Mm. Okay, and I'll get to who those people are in a second. But most defensive-minded head coaches want to run a certain style of offense that is not prevalent in today's NFL. Right.
Right.
Case in point, look at what happened to the Texans. Right. They weren't running the ball effectively enough. So DeMeco Ryans fires Bobby Slowick, and now CJ Stroud is on a slider. Now their offense can't move the ball. Now they can barely run the ball. They're trying to play a brand of football that they're not designed offensively to play. Their defense is amazing, right? If we had that defense with Josh Allen and the offense was struggling, at least we have the defense to kind of, lean on, and Josh wouldn't have to do so much to win games, but we don't even have that. But my point is, defensive-minded head coaches hire a guy like Joe Brady because they can control him. You get a guy like that that has no juice at all. Look at the relationship.
Very little experience.
Exactly. Right. You're going to come in. You're going to do exactly what I want, buddy. I'm going to put my hand on the back of your head, and I'm going to guide you where I want you to be. And if you don't, it's going to be hard for you to get another job in the NFL if you don't do right by me. You know what I'm saying? And that was Matt Rule's mindset. And then who's the next guy to hire Joe Brady after that? Sean McDermott, who's basically another Matt Rule in a sense, as far as how he wants to run the team and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah,
100%.
So if you look at the defensive-minded coordinators in the NFL right now that are not doing that, Raheem Morris with the Falcons, that is a young up-and-coming team that throws the ball on offense. They throw the ball to their running back. You look at Mike McDonald in Seattle. They throw the ball. They run the ball more than they throw it. But Sam, they just traded for another receiver. Sam Darnold's throwing for 300 yards a game, four touchdowns a game. They are blowing teams out in the first half of games
because they're surrounding him with talent. They're surrounding him with other options that can help him out. He's not the greatest quarterback, but when you surround talent with even average, he can make him look good.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying about like Joe Brady, for instance. He doesn't know how to make average good. He doesn't know how to make good great. So, our average receivers are staying average, folks.
And
right.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
The last guy on this list, real quick, and tell me what you think about this, because this is totally relevant to today. The last guy on this list of defensive-minded head coaches that allow his team to just launch the ball, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have a top 10 defense, and their quarterback slings it all over the yard. They got a guy in Tiz Johnson that can run great routes, a speedy receiver. They got a Mecca Ibuka. Like, that doesn't even include the receivers that they have hurt. Mike Evans is not coming back, but if Chris Godwin comes back, that is a complete receiver set there. They're going to make noise in the playoffs, right? Yeah. On top of that, they have a tight end they can get to the ball. They can get the ball to. Their defense is incredible. Like, that's what we needed to see. We needed to see a guy who can come in and have a real defense that actually wins games for that team, and combine that with a passing game that is just standard. Like in the NFL, that's all you need. You play good defense. You got a passing offense that can move the chains, and you can run the ball efficiently or effectively. You don't need to be a dominant run team, but you need to be able to do things when you need to do them, and that's really what it comes down to.
And also, too, guys, like the one thing, too, is unfortunately here, which is so sad, we don't have a crutch in the defense, meaning when our offense is not playing too well, like we can't fall back and be like, it's okay. Thank God we got McDermott in this defense, baby. Like it's never, have we ever said that, guys?
No.
Have we ever? I can't tell you the last time we played a game where I'm like,
maybe 2017.
Maybe, yeah, you're right. 2017 was actually the best I've seen our defense. Yeah, absolutely. But
they weren't even his players.
Yeah, exactly. I would say maybe a couple years after that was okay too. Like the beginning of Poyer High, maybe those 2-3. They were playing a little. But it's been a while, folks, where I went into a game was like, oh yeah, we're gonna smash this guy, this quarterback. They ain't getting nothing. Like, dude, I'd never say that. We go. What is Josh Allen going to do today? What can the offense do today? Like, we don't even really come on, let's be real, guys. If we're going to keep it a buck. But yeah, real quick on this, and we're going to get to the X factors because it's about that time. By the way, the Dolphins intercepted the Commanders, who had the ball first in overtime, and the Dolphins have the ball in their close to the red zone. So more than likely, Dolphins win this game on a field goal here. It's in overtime. I said this game would be close, by the way, and I absolutely was right. Every overseas game this season so far, it's been relatively close. So this is not like a shock to me. What's shocking is we fucking got blown out. By this team. Anyways, real quick on this, and this is what I was talking about. I'll skim through it, but this is the little short article, whatever. So this guy says, want my true honest opinion on Brady. I think he's a good football coach. I really do. He's bright offensive minded, but he's very young. Sometimes young coaches that are extremely smart outsmart themselves. They play too much into the analytics. They're super conservative and run a vanilla offense. There's nothing complex about Brady's scheme. It's very basic, which is why he struggled to have positive results in the league. You can't be predictable. You have to throw in a bunch of motions, double moves, RPOs, rub routes. Present the defense with some eye candy pre-snap. From what I could tell, 90% of the motions are just to expose if the defense is in man or zone coverage. There are very few motions into routes. Blocks are once again eye candy. Getting the eyes of the defense to have their eyes in the wrong place could be a difference between 2 yards and a 20-yard gain. Absolutely. I've been saying this over and over when it comes to Brady. And then, I think he said right here about the LSU says one of the biggest reasons I believe Brady and the Panthers marriage didn't last long is because of Brady's experience in calling plays. A lot of people forget that he wasn't the offensive coordinator at LSU. He was the pass game coordinator and wide receivers coach, thus meaning he has never had full control of an offense before. Looking back on it, you could argue that those star players that he had at LSU were the sole reason he earned an opportunity with Rule and the Panthers in the first place. Sometimes players make a coach look better than he really is.
Yep.
That's not to say Brady won't ever regain that success. I think he will, in all likelihood, land on his feet again in the college level as an OC. And honestly, guys, I'll be honest with you. I think that is his best step. I think he should go back to college and be an OC, get your feet wet again, like kind of go through the motions again, get better, understand. Get more creative, understand your player's strengths. Like now you're going to know the young guys coming up from high school into college. Like now you can really get it and understand the feeling of how to, like what these guys' strengths are coming out of high school into college, mold them into what you want. And maybe then once you get that going, you can go back to the NFL and then you can go, hey, see what I did over at wherever, Wyoming, where the fuck college you go to. But you got to show something. And I think that article holds true big time, right? The inexperience speaks volumes. He got an opportunity at Carolina, failed. He's getting opportunity here. It's not looking so great, especially when your head coach, who's an asshole anyways, I don't even like him, but is calling you out throughout the whole season. Almost every fucking post game, he's saying something negative about the offense. So,
yeah. And
he's the one that wants it like this. So that's bad.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get to the X factors real quick. By the way, the Dolphins did win 16-13. So let's go ahead and get to the score predictions. Well, X factors, actually. Who's your X factor, offense, defense?
Man, I think the X factor for this game is going to have to be Josh Palmer. Can he win, one-on-one? Can he be the guy that the Bills can rely on? I understand Khalil Shakir is out there, but they're not throwing the ball to Khalil Shakir past the line of scrimmage, and you don't have Dalton Kincaid. So who's going to be your downfield option to keep that defense honest in the passing game? I think it's got to be Josh Palmer.
Dude, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about this guy? Oh, yeah.
I had my price right gong. Boom, 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 boom. No, defensively, I think this is man. So I think it's going to come down to Terrell Bernard. To be perfectly honest, if Terrell Bernard has a bad game, that means that the offensive line and that run game for the Bucs has a good game. And if they have a good game where they can run the ball and keep the ball away and control the clock, and we know they can pass the ball to Emeka Egbuka whenever they want to because nobody can cover that dude, say goodnight. Kiss the baby. It's over.
All right. Okay. And what's your score prediction?
I got the Bucs winning this one. I think it's going to be.
Whoa.
I think it's going to be tight, but I got the Bucs winning this one 20-17.
Okay.
All right. Alan doesn't, he doesn't agree with you.
I hope not. Okay. I hope I just lit a fire up under him and he comes out and sets the Bucs ablaze. I hope.
Sophia says 24-17. Go ahead and put your score predictions in the chat before you get out of here. Callie Blitz, I told you, Callie's like just pissed. And so is Scott Blake. 38-10 Bucs.
Wow, Bucs are 5.5 right now? Plus 5.5?
Plus 5.5. Yeah.
Wow.
Because they had some key injuries out. So my X factor on offense, God. I'm just going to go ahead and say Gabe Davis, baby. Why not, right? Like I just like why not, man? Big game Gabe. I'm gonna laugh so hard if that dude comes out and just has 100 yards. I'm gonna be like, dude, 100 yards?
Yep.
Bro, no, forget 100 yards. 75, I would be like, bro, we just got our number one receiver.
Yeah. Yeah.
When's the last, bro? Honestly, we don't even get those performances. When we get a guy when we get a guy gets 60 yards, we're like, yeah, look at Shakir, 12 targets, 55 yards. That's our it's guys. It's receiving wise though, Aramis. It's like we just do not get guys getting more than 60. It's rare. So if this guy got, dude, I'd be like, whoa, hey. So we're on a watch out, NFL. So
that would be the billsiest thing to ever happen to this team. You let Gabe Davis go for nothing. He goes to the Jaguars, does absolutely nothing. Then you bring him back, and now all of a sudden he's the best receiver on your team, the guy that takes you to the Super Bowl. That would be the billsiest thing to ever happen in my
then we sign him.
life.
Then Bean's like, off season, he's like, yeah. What do you guys go? We saw what we did week 10 through the end of the season. Gabe Davis had 600 yards. He's our number one. We're signing a 4-year contract.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So defense. God. Defense. I'll go Cole Bishop. Cole Bishop's been damn good lately. He's playing really good ball. I think he's playing probably honestly the best ball out of anyone offensively and defensively on the team. He's right now at like in the zone. Like I feel like Cole Bishop is really starting to find his place on this team. Like really, he's cementing himself as a guy that I can count on. So I'm definitely liking Cole Bishop here. Score prediction, I got the Bills winning. The Bills usually rebound well. We're at home. If we don't, folks, like I said, if we lose this game, I don't know what to tell you. Like at that point, I almost think that playoff thing, like Jim Mora playoffs, like that's definitely gonna come into my mind at that point. So I'll go Bills. I'll say 26-17.
26-17.
26-17. I mean, 26 seems like so much for this team right now, but I'll go 26-17. They're going to give up points. They normally do. So, and they may score more, but I'll say 17. It could be 26-20 too as well. So, but either way, I'll go 26-17. Let's get to the real man of genius, and then we'll get out of here so we can enjoy the game. Let's see. Oh, Mikey's in the building. Mikey, he's saying the Cook and Bosa is for him. Bosa, I'm sure, still playing with the fucking cast on his arm, which is never good. But Walker on defense. Oh, that's a good one. I like Walker. Walker's also playing at a high level. I'll give Walker credit where credit is due as well.
Sanders
like Walker's
game too,
and he is. And I still have high hopes for Sanders, guys. I know a lot of you guys are iffy on him. I think he could be a good player in the NFL. I just think he needs some time. He needs reps and he needs time. So that's a player I would say be a little bit patient with, because he's a little bit raw too. So, let's see. This is a great, I will say this though, for Sanders, if he can stay healthy, it's a great opportunity now to get your reps in.
Yeah.
Show your worth, learn. You're going to have learning curves, but this is perfect. Yeah. This is a perfect time to do it. Now that, Ed's out, go for it. You know what I mean? Show you're capable of being a starting defensive tackle in the NFL. You know what I mean? And I think Bills fans will quickly go, okay, that's there we go. That's a good pick. Now we can kind of maybe move on from Alpha. All right, so let's get to Real Men of Genius and we'll get out of here because I know Aramis is ready to watch some high-quality air-out football, baby, with Gabe Davis. He's ready. He's ready. You know what's crazy, though, is like the last time Gabe was in the Bill Stadium, didn't go so great for him.
No, he had snowballs thrown at him.
Yeah, he had a couple of fuck you, Gabe Davis, which I'm going to tell you guys this real quick, though. I don't like that. Like, I'm not like, I think he didn't deserve that. I'm going to be honest. Even if, whatever, if you don't like him, you don't like him. But he never did he was a good player here. Like, he was as good as he was going to get, okay? Nobody crowned him number 2. That was Brandon Beane who crowned him. He wasn't in the locker room going, I'm the fucking man. He never had that personality. He showed up to work. It didn't work out at the end. Okay, you don't fucking shit on him on the way out. Like, that's, I don't know. I don't like that. That's one thing I don't like about fans. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, if he was like, fuck Buffalo, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. It's fucking bullshit, fucking, city of Buffalo, losers. Like, I would get it. Fine, fucking harass the shit out of him. But what did the guy do? You act like he missed the touchdown in the Super Bowl or something, or AFC. Dude, relax. Bills Mafia, good Lord. All right, anyways, let's get to these and we'll get out of here, man. Yeah, here we go.
Budweiser
I got a video
presents Real Men of Genius.
All right.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer.
Oh, no.
Really bad to pay wearer.
More than any neon sign
Yeah,
or
look at that
exploding
hair.
scoreboard ever could, your chrome dome cover says, "Hey guys, look at me."
What could you be thinking?
You think it looks natural, but it couldn't look phonier if it had a chin strap.
Look at you.
Made of space-age fibers, it can repel anything. Rain, wind, snow, and especially young women.
I don't think so.
So crack open an ice cold Budweiser, Mr. Stud in a rug. Then crack open another
Stud in a
for
rug.
that thing on your head.
I don't think it's on straight.
It's on straight.
that was
one
good.
more, we're out of here, folks. Man, these are the best, man. I wish they would redo these, like current times. Oh, dude. I was also telling people this would be great, and they'll obviously never do it, but you know the show Bar Rescue, if they did an NFL Rescue with John Gruden, and he
Just walks into the locker room. No, you got speeches like this, all right? Like, give me that whiteboard over there. Let me show you how it's done.
right. You got this guy over here.
Yep. This
You're
guy's
over
over here. This guy's playing solitaire. What?
Right. You're over here calling timeouts. You can't even get the. Dude, it would be fucking great. You get in McDermott's face, start yelling at him.
Man.
Oh my God, dude. All right, here we go. Last one. We're out here. Mercer, overzealous football catcher. Okay. Foul ball catcher. Okay, so I missed it.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Overzealous Foul Ball Catcher.
Mr. Overzealous foul ball catcher.
You're nowhere close to that foul ball heading for the bleachers. Who cares? You're going for it.
That ball's mine.
Hot dog vendors, old ladies, infants. You mow them over like a diesel-powered combine.
Yeah.
Ashamed of your souvenir fervor? Hardly. You scratch and gouge your way to the ball like a bloodthirsty Wolverine.
You're a feisty rodent.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, Mr. Bully of the Bleachers. Because why pay for a souvenir when you can fight for one?
Mr. Overzealous foul ball catcher.
Right. That was
Right?
perfect.
Oh, dude. So, Aramis, awesome. Another awesome pregame show with you, man. Appreciate you guys watching. Everybody in the chat today were great, man. Appreciate all y'all for rocking with us. I'll be here halftime for the halftime show, and then obviously me and Mikey for the postgame show. And also check out Postponing the Podcast on Mondays at 5:30. 5:30, correct? Still 5:30. Yep. And then also Aramis is doing a you do the coach. Go ahead and tell them your lineup for the week.
Yeah. So Mondays, 5:30 to 7:30 is the podcast. Wednesdays, I do a show built around watching the press conferences and kind of interpreting coach speak and body language to kind of, figure out what's real, what's not, what should we glean from the press conferences. And then Thursday, I do a film review study with Buffalo Bills alumni Damaris Johnson. Played with the Bills back in the 90s. So he regularly we do that show on Thursdays. The Wednesday show and Thursday show are both at 7:30, if I didn't say that already.
Okay.
And then we're back again Friday with the podcast, 5:30 to 7:30.
Cool. And then real quick heads up before we go. Monday the 24th at 9 p.m. I'm going to be having Arthur Moats on the channel. Aramis is going to be joining me, and maybe Keys as well. But Aramis and me, Mikey has a business thing to do, so Aramis is going to fill in, and Keys might be there too. So you don't want to miss that too. We're going to pick Arthur Mose's brain a little bit, and it should be a fun episode. So, and we also play Pittsburgh that weekend. So obviously you guys know he played for both Buffalo and Pittsburgh. So I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about that as well. So tune in for that. That's going to be an awesome podcast as well. So appreciate you guys. Bills Mafia, you guys rule. We love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace. Aramis? What? I didn't hear it.
Go Bills. My bad.
There it is. There it is. Peace out, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye. See, Peter, he's too fast. You gotta tackle me. It's B. You gotta press B. I'm pressing B. He's too fast. Going over here? Going over here now? Never get tired.